All right, this is number 2 on lesson 6-4 on page 316. The average salary for first-year teachers is $27,989. If the distribution is approximately normal, with sigma, which is your population standard deviation, of $3,250, what is the probability that a randomly selected first-year teacher makes these salaries? Part A, between $20,000 and $30,000 a year. So let's set up our picture first. The average, or mean, is $27,989. So mu, $27,989. They want to know the probability that a teacher is going to make between $20,000, which would be to the left of $27,000, be over here. That would be one of our x values, $20,000, and $30,000, which would be to the right. That would be our other x value. They want to know the probability of the salary being between those. So we're going to find the area between those two. So the first thing you do, well, first of all, we have to write down our standard deviation. Population standard deviation is given at $3,250. So this is a normal distribution. It's got x values on the horizontal axis. I need to transform this into the standard normal distribution. Standard normal distribution is going to use z-scores on the horizontal axis. So what I need to do is turn all my x values into z values, z-scores. So the mean is going to have a z-score of 0. But to get the z-score for 20,000, I'm going to have to use my formula here, my z-score formula, to figure out, it's obviously going to be a negative because that 20,000 is below the mean. And remember, the z-score tells me how many standard deviations are below the mean or above the mean. But because I'm below the mean, I'm going to get a negative z-score. So I'm going to take my real world value of $20,000 minus my mean of $27,989 using this formula, divided by the standard deviation of 3,250. Type that in your calculator. Does anyone know what that comes out to? Negative 2.46. So that's telling me that a salary of $20,000, if the teacher had a salary of $20,000, that teacher salary is 2.46 standard deviations below the mean. Now let's go to $30,000. Do the same type of thing. Take $30,000, your real world data value, which is x, minus your mean, 27,989, divided by your standard deviation, 3,250. What's that come up to? 0.62. Thank you. So that tells me a teacher making $30,000 is making a salary that's 0.62, 62 hundredths of a standard deviation above the mean. What I need to do now is use my z-chart to find this green area here. Then use my z-chart again to find this pink area here. Then add those two values together and I'll have my answer. So I go to my z-chart. First thing I look up is 2.46. Remember, the z-chart doesn't have negative z values on our z-chart anyway, so we're going to use positive 2.46. So you're going to go to 2.4 here, 0.06 here, look across, look down. Anybody know what that value is? One more time. 0.2324. So that's giving us this area right, oops, right in here. 0.2324. Then you go to your z-chart again, and this time you go to 0.6, your tenths digit, and then you go to 0.02, your hundredths digit. You come across, you come down. What area is that? Anybody have that one? I think.
The reverse.
I think this is the one that actually is 0.2324.
Yeah,
I think right. This one's what? 2.461. Not that I don't trust you, but I'm gonna look. 0.4931.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That sounds better. So this area actually here is 0.4931, and this area is 0.2324. So if we add that together, that'll give us the total probability of a teacher having a salary between $20,000 and $30,000. So if we add these together, our final answer for part A, this is for part A. Say it again.
0.7255.
Or about a 72.55% chance. Now, this is an old textbook, so I can tell you that teacher salaries are a lot higher than that now if you're thinking about going into teaching. But at that time, when this textbook was written or when this data was collected, that was the probability of a teacher making between $20,000 and $30,000. All right, any questions on that? Let's do part B, and I'll give you some time to work. Less than $20,000 a year. So part B, they want, what's the probability that a teacher makes less than $20,000? Well, less than $20,000 would be to the left of this line here. So if you want to find this area. So if I know this area is 0.4931, what could I do to get this area? 0.5. We know that 50% of the area is to the left of 0. So 0.5000 minus 0.4931, which will give you 0.0069. That area would be 0.0069. So the answer for part B, the probability that a teacher will make less than $20,000 is 0.0069. Or another way you could write it, you could write that there's a 69 out of 10,000 chance that if you randomly chose a teacher, that they would be making less than $20,000. So pretty unlikely. Or you can move your decimal 2 to the right and say there's a 0.69% chance. Shoot, 3 different ways you could write it. Any questions on that? All right, let's give you some work time. And if you run into things I haven't shown you good enough, I can do more on the board. But hopefully that's enough to get you going.